This is First Updates Now Spotlight, Episode 5, recorded on February 16th, 2016. Spotlight is brought to you by AnyMark. With great service and many items assembled in the USA, trust that AnyMark will be here for you and your robotics team needs. Check them out at anymark.com today. And by Audible. Get the new Cool or another audiobook for free with Audible's 30-day free trial at firstupdatesnow.com/audible.
This team knows that FIRST is more than robots. They are transforming their world and are role models for their school, family, community, and beyond. In a school where students struggle to find a future, this team reaches out to the youngest students to transform the culture from the bottom up and guide them to embrace STEM in their lives. Beyond their FIRST activities focused on youth, they also train elementary students on how to use computers in their classroom. This team is impacting their community now by applying their STEM knowledge and resources to put technology in the hands of those who need it, both locally and globally. They show how awesome robotics education can be. They share their passion through extensive media, outreach, and mentoring students from other countries. This team doesn't just build robots, they build family. They build character. Congratulations to Team 597, the Wolverines from Los Angeles, California.
Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Spotlight, where we interview interesting people and teams from the FIRST community so you can be more informed and engaged. I'm Tyler Olds, and, well, Colin Foltz. The last few episodes, we've had Spotlight, and we've taken a look at some individuals and organizations, but now we got a fantastic team to talk with today.
That's right, Tyler. You got to give the people what they want, and the people wanted to hear from our guest this week.
Absolutely. And we're extremely excited to be introducing our guest for Spotlight tonight. The latest Hall of Fame team and winners of the Chairman's Award, last year's championship. That's FRC597, the Wolverines. We'd like to welcome Daryl Newhouse and Anna Hernandez joining us today. Welcome, Daryl and Anna.
Thank you.
Hey.
Great to be here.
So, Daryl, let's start with you. You are the coach of the Wolverines, 16-year FIRST vet, founder of the team. You also, as I understand, will Project Lead the Way and teach math. You just tell us a little bit about your history with FIRST and with PLTW.
Sure. Back in 2001, I became aware of the FIRST robotic competition, and it seemed like something that we needed at this school, because a lot of kids, they just weren't getting it with just the general learning out of a textbook. So I thought maybe if I could bring some type of hands-on activity into the classroom, it would like maybe excite them more about their math class. So we started a FIRST robotic team in 2001. Myself, a teacher, I think we had like 7 students, and we had 1 college engineering student, and we put together a robot. Wasn't the greatest thing, but it was a good experience for especially for me, because I was able to actually get and put the motors together and et cetera, et cetera. So I had a lot of fun doing it. And then ever since then, it just kind of grew. We ended up going from 7 kids, maybe 15, and then it became 30, and then 40, and then sometimes 50 and 60, and
Wow.
it kind of took off. And I've enjoyed the experience, and to compliment FIRST, there was the Project Lead the Way when I found out about that, which was about 2 or 3 years later. So I took some courses in the summer for Project Lead the Way, and then because I was not an engineer by trade, I was in the Marines for a while, and then I got out and became a teacher. But Project Lead the Way taught me the engineering design process, the basic CADing skills, the kind of things like an engineer, laying that foundation to kids at an early age on what engineers do. So we've actually started a manufacturing robotics engineering academy here at Fauché. I've got about 200 kids that are involved in it.
That's incredible. And Anna, you were a student captain for the last 2 seasons on the team. Now you're a freshman in college, and you won. You received the Allaire Medal when your team won the Chairman's Award. Can you talk about what exactly the Allaire Medal is and kind of your experience in receiving it?
So the Allaire Medal is given to one team member on the team that has won the Chairman's Award. And my experience with it is it's actually helped me encourage me to go to a university which I felt has the best program for me, especially being interested in technology, both hardware and software sides of it, and video game designs as well. And it's also really nice to be recognized for all the years that I've put in with robotics and that I've been involved with the team.
Sure. So can you talk a little bit about how you got involved with the team and kind of what your responsibilities were as a captain?
I actually got involved in middle school. I had a school counselor come in and tell me what elective I wanted to take, and I was between theater and Lego robotics, and I thought robotics would be a lot more fun. And when I took the class, Mr. Newhouse is the teacher, and it was really fun getting to work with my classmates in teams of three or two. I really enjoyed the research projects and being able to find a way to present it to the judges. It was something that I saw a lot of my other team classmates really struggle with when it came to like researching and how to write your papers and how to effectively present it. And I thought it was something that I really liked. I like talking to people and showing all the research that I've done during the season. And it's also given me a chance to really explore building and programming, and it grew my interest in programming.
So you mentioned that, so Legally was an actual class that you could take, is that correct?
Yes.
That's
I think
cool.
it was through Project Lead the Way.
Sure. Yeah, and Project Lead Away is a fantastic program. I went through that when I was in high school, and that was over a decade ago. Right? Wow, thanks. Wow, yeah, right.
Well,
and it really, the structure of it is just, to be able to find a way to engage both the students and the instructors as well, too. I think that's kind of the harmonious thing about PLTW is that it allows you to do something like that. And now they have partnerships with VEX and some other programs as well, too. To go in as well. Anna, if I can ask you one question real quick too. You mentioned you were kind of drawn into doing the project-based things, but chairman's, at least from some of the teams that I've experienced, there's kind of a interesting silo or divide sometimes that happens between the chairman's award presenters, people that are working on that, and the rest of the team. What advice would you give to say that to try to get all the students engaged and really ingrained into doing chairman's and outreach?
So what we did, actually we've done this for a couple seasons now, is we like to say that everybody's safety, everybody's chairman's as well. We like to come together, especially with the newer members, and have a Team 597 history crash course where we have a presentation, we go ahead and show some of the initiatives that community outreach that we've done, some of the initiatives that we started, and really make sure that the team knows who Team 597 is. And
sure.
We also encourage everybody who's in the pit area, everybody who's out in the stand, to go ahead and talk to people. It's nice practice to, even if you're not talking to a judge, you're able to go ahead and get some practice by talking about our team to other people.
All right, and we'll talk about that a little bit later and kind of get a little more in depth of that. But I gotta ask, kind of taking a step back, the Wolverines, Daryl, 4 regional chairman's awards that you've had. So let's go back a decade, though. So previous to 2006, the only award that your team has won at that time, since the inception of the program, was a website award in 2005. In 2006, your team really seemed to gain some traction, winning another website award, the Quality Award, Woody Flowers Finalist Award. And from there, it kind of just kept seeing the steamroll more and more and more. So what led up to your team getting it together to win its first Chairman's Award at the Las Vegas Regional in 2007?
Yeah, I think you hit it on the nose when you said that first in 2005, we won our first award because the previous years, it was, I would always tell the kids, it's not really important what you win, it's what you're getting out of the program.
Sure.
And theoretically, that's the right thing to tell the kids. But when you see their faces, like, well, we didn't win anything, and
yeah.
And I was just thinking, and we actually got together and we decided like, hey, there's this website award. We've never tried for it before, but I know you guys can do websites because we have a tech academy here at our school that teaches you how to do websites. So we actually, 2005, we actually entered the website award competition, whatever, and we actually won it at the LA Regional. And I'm telling you, that's one of the most memorable experience I ever had. A parent took us out to dinner. The hugs and the kisses. It's just like I can't. It was such an emotional experience. The kids that had graduated in 2004. My kids were calling them in college saying, "Hey, we finally won one. We finally won one." And the kids got really, really excited. And I think that's how the momentum started. The snowball started to build.
Absolutely, you gained some excitement. So did that kind of lead into you all doing more outreach?
Yeah, the answer is yes, because we really didn't understand what the chairman's award was about. We understood that you needed to do robotic demonstrations, which we were doing at our school and we were doing in the local community. But we needed we needed more. And then I think it was the hot team or something that won in 2007, and they put out a what do you call it, PowerPoint. And then the PowerPoint says, give the judges a brain tattoo. And I couldn't read, what do you mean, give the judges a brain tattoo? And it says you have to tell the judges all the exciting things that you're doing to excite your community about STEM, to change your community, and to get kids going, and to get the culture in your community, to change. So I told the kids, like, look, we're gonna have to start volunteering at hospitals. We have to start volunteering at homeless shelters or whatever. So we started having canned food drives, blood drives. We've done, we feed the homeless during the holidays, AIDS walks, et cetera, et cetera. So then we started encompassing this into our team persona. So no one outworks a Wolverine, and we build more of the robots, we build character. So we're teaching the kids to be responsible, to come out of their shell. Like Anna says, it's very difficult in this particular community that a lot of kids don't like. They're just not natural talkers, especially the people that aren't in the community. But young ladies like Anna, they set the example, and they say, hey, you can go out and talk to anyone, but here's our team history, and here's what you should say about your team.
And if I can say something, Daryl, I think you brought up a really interesting point too, that with the different outreaches that you had, many of those weren't anything specifically to do with the robot, right?
Exactly.
And that's one of the things, I think there's a misperception with that, with a lot of teams, is that you don't necessarily, as long as you can tie it into what, as you said, your persona of the team or whatever you're trying to market or show as a team, that's what's important, that you're tying everything in as a community aspect and not just a robot aspect, right?
Exactly.
So Anna, as a student, I mean, Daryl listed all kinds of engagement opportunities there. What kind of impact does that have on you as you come in and kind of go through the program?
A lot of these volunteering events is something that I never really thought of to go ahead and do on my own time. It was really fun going out there with my team members, making some new memories, having fun, and helping the community at the same time. And it also encouraged us to go and look for volunteering opportunities that we might be personally interested in. I know our breast cancer awareness idea within our team actually was because of experience with the past team captain, whose grandmother, I think, had it. And this is one way that we can go ahead and help her and provide and continue on her legacy, which is breast cancer awareness. And we tie that deeply into our team. That's why every competition we have pink bows. We go ahead and have a I Heart Robotics Day where we go ahead and pass out more breast cancer awareness ribbons. And it's something that a lot of the students enjoy doing. And again, every student puts in like over 200 hours of community service, and it really shows the students growing as people. We get to talk to new people. We get to make new experiences.
And it's part of that, give the judges a brain tattoo. Our brain tattoo is when you come to our pit area, here's a pink ribbon. And then sometimes you end up with 3 or 4 pink ribbons.
I think a lot of that has to do with the that brain tattoo. To put it, I think in other terms too, is that positioning that you're giving the judges, right? So when they're thinking about what teams are going to qualify for this chairman's award, you want something memorable that they're going to think of. Oh, that team, right away. That's I like that team a lot. This is what I remember about them.
Right.
Yeah, so I totally agree, and that's fantastic advice to teams who are aspiring to not even just a chairman's award, but just to have a good presence when you're either doing your chairman's presentation or when you're in the pits when you have judges coming up to you, is not just talking to the judges, but coming up with something that they're going to remember you by personally.
Yeah, I
Right.
think that advice applies for every award. You want to
Yeah.
you want to stick in their mind. So, Daryl, you talked about your team growing from 7 to 50 or 60 students. I guess kind of what process do you take to recruit students and mentors to the program, and then keep the kids hooked?
Oh, sure. You know what? We're in a fortunate situation. We're K through 12, and when I started teaching our robotics, I started at the high school, but a lot of the middle school kids and the elementary kids would actually look into the classroom and say, "Is there robotics for us too?" And then I thought, and like in 2000, I think it was 2008, we started our first Lego League team, and I won't say team. We had actually 8 Lego League teams because they were that interested in it. So I started. I actually offered a Lego class, first Lego League class, and I taught robotics that way, and along with some other the Navy Underwater Sea Perch Robotics (ROV). The kids got exposure with that, but and what had happened was I kept these kids in 6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, and 12th grade, because by the time they got to high school, most of them had 2 or 3 years of Lego robotic, first Lego League experience. And then when they got to my program, it was a transition. So I think we really won the chairman's program this year because the kids understood what the requirements are, because they started getting the lessons of responsibility, the engineering design process, presentation skills. They started getting it by being part of First Lego League. So I still have that. Like I don't have to worry about students. I'm always going to have students because right now I have 12 Lego. Oh no, we have like 8 Lego teams this year, and then next year we're predicted to have 12. So I'll always have a group of kids for our
That's
first
cool.
team.
It's like the young kids going to watch the high school team play basketball or play football or something. They say, I want to do that when in just a couple of years, and it's so tangible to them because the kids are only, like you said, a few years older than them.
Yeah.
And another thing to add on to that too, just from the recruiting process itself, I mean, what a load off your chest, right? To not have to go out and actively recruit, so to speak, where you can have these students that are already passionate, are already engaged, and of course, there's other students that come in outside of the first programs, right? But that gives you a fantastic base to go off of. To where, especially if you have new kids coming in that have some experience and some that don't, I think that adds to the comfortability level of those new kids who don't know anything about FIRST as well too.
Sure.
So before we get more into the Wolverines and their journey and becoming a Hall of Fame team, let's take a break and thank our sponsor for Spotlight tonight, AndyMark. You got to ask yourselves, are you competition ready? And during the heat of the competition, robots are under a lot of stress. In this year's game, Stronghold, that your robot is going to take a beating from the field elements and other robots. And there's going to be a time where you want to swap out parts or fix your robot to have backups. What you need to carry your robot is the AndyMark Robot First Aid Kit. This kit is full of parts that you'd want to have ready during the competition: spare gears, bearings, collar clamps, and more for when you need them most. With over 150 items in this kit, I'm telling you that you need to have this if you have a KOP chassis or use any of these parts in your robot. It'll be ready for you to go, and just take a look at everything this includes to get yourself competition ready. So go to andymark.com and check out their Robot First Aid Kit. A huge thanks to AndyMark for their support of First Updates Now shows like Spotlight. So as we move into more Chairman's Awards and things going on, could you give me a rundown of typically what your calendar year looks like for 597, outside of just the robot build season? What is all going on year-round with 597? And you mentioned something before.
Yeah, again, there's a lot of volunteering, a lot of community work that we do. One thing that we've done for years, we've provided after-school math tutoring to our middle school, elementary, and even high school kids. The Team 597 student members, they do that. We also had a program for the longest time called Mission Science. We would meet every Monday, and the kids would do science experiments with elementary and middle school kids. You know, that peer mentoring kind of a thing. We've all, I mean, besides mentoring Lego teams, I mean, almost throughout the year, the kids are the Team 597 student members are also helping students learn about ROVs, teaching kids how to make presentations, and then to move over, moreover, this is all during the off season, and there's USC home football games that we do. It's one of our primary fundraisers where we go out USC is always ranked, one of the top schools in college football, and there's always 90,000 plus people that go to these games.
Yeah.
So we bring our robots out, we drive them around, and a lot of the people that go to these games are either they're professionals or engineers or doctors or whatever, and they'll just come and say, "What are you guys doing? This is really cool. Here's $20 for I think you're doing is really nice, or here's $100." We even had someone give us $500.
Wow.
And I didn't think we were going to get it. Some doctors said, "Look, I'm going to send you a check for $500. Give me your contact information." And sure enough, a couple of days later, we got the check for $500. So we're always out trying to encourage students and encourage the community to embrace STEM and how important it is. And then I think someone said, "You get what you celebrate." If we continue, and this is how we sell it at the USC football games, if we continue on our present path, we're not going to have enough scientists and engineers to replace the ones that are retiring right now, and everything's going to be outsourced. I said we don't want that to happen. We need to keep America, put America back on top where we belong, and win science and technology. So we got to get more kids interested in first robotics or STEM in general.
Yeah, you're creating a call to action, right? Like a generated need that you're trying to fulfill.
Yeah.
That's so cool, and we heard that 2 weeks ago from Mark Lawrence too. It's just getting out there into the community, and you never know who's gonna stop by. So last year at the regionals, your team had a very successful run. 3 events, 6 awards, including Engineering Inspiration in LA, and then you go to Las Vegas and you win Dean's List finalist and the Chairman's Award there, the regional chairman's. What do you do to get yourself competition ready when it comes to these awards, right, that focus so much on interacting with the judges and telling the Wolverine story? How do you make sure your kids are ready for that?
Well, I think Anna alluded to the fact that every student on the team is educated about the importance of our team history, that they be able to communicate this to the judges. And if I find a student is not up to communicating a message about Team 597 to judges, then I usually tell that student, then, at this point, maybe it's a good idea that you stay in the stands. I mean, if we really need you, we'll call you down. But in most cases, students that are really passionate and they really understand what the message Team 597 is about, because we're building more than robots, we're building character. They stay in the pit area, and like Anna said, everybody in our pit area is a chairman's captain or a safety captain. So it doesn't matter if it's a safety advisor or chairman's judge. If they come, you should be able to talk about the team, and excite judges about the team, and don't forget the pink ribbon.
So Anna, what did you have to do in regards to that? Were you in the chairman's presentation? Were you down in the pits? What was your role with that?
I was down in the pit area with the chairman's team. We did a lot of practicing with, if there was a parent or just someone that was interested in learning more about our team, we would practice with them. So that way it wasn't as stressful when it came to talking to judges. And we also like to communicate with the build team, whoever was in the pit area, and see what's going on with them. So that way, if there was someone asking us about the robot, we at least knew something to say. And the same with the build team, that they knew something to say too. And it was just a lot of getting together with my teammates and talking about, oh, what happened this day? What did you see? And making sure that we knew what was going on during the competition. So I was just communicating a lot.
Sure.
I want to add something. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, you can't do that.
Okay. I think what really helped us win chairmans was I had someone look at the last 3 years of chairman's submissions and our presentations, and this individual says, I see the message that you have written in your presentation. Excuse me, the write-up. I see the message you've written, the write-up, but I'm looking at your presentations, and the presentation and the write-up, they're not meshing. So you need to adjust your presentation so there's a consistency between the write-up and the actual presentation itself. So what we did was, this is over the last 3 or 4 years. I told the kids every time they came out from a chairman's interview, write down all the questions that you were asked. Just write them down. And I put these questions in my phone, and then every time we start talking about chairmans, I get my cell phone out. So, oh yeah, last year they asked these questions. 2 years ago, these were the questions. And we wrote all the questions, and I realized, hey, there is a limited number of questions that a chairman judge can ask.
Yes.
So you've got to be ready to answer those questions. The other important thing that the gentleman told me was, you have to pretend you're in an elevator with Steven Spielberg, and you're on your way to the 8th floor, and you got 20 seconds to sell a movie idea to him. What are the 1 or 2 most important things about your team that you want to give them a brain tattoo about? And that really, really stuck to me. And we actually did an analysis of our team, and we figured out the 3 most important things about our team. Number 1, we love to volunteer. That's a requirement on the team. Number 2, we're family. And then number 3, we love to share. We've got limited resources, but if we can help you, we'll share it with you. And so based on those 3 things, and he said, well, if you had to pick one, what would be the one you guys would pick? And we decided probably sharing. That way we can affect the first community. We can help, our community in general, our school, because we love sharing the idea of how cool robotics are. And then we sat and just brainstormed, and then we came up with this acronym, showing how awesome a robotics education can be. So that's what happened.
And that stuff sticks with the judges, right? You talked about, that the brain grafting, brain tattoo is having that acronym that you can follow through with and prove that you're doing. That's what sticks with the judges, right?
Yes.
And from a student standpoint, that self-reflection, that's something that sticks with you when you start interviewing for jobs or giving presentations as part of your jobs or in college. You can have the best idea in the world, but if you can't sell it to people and get people to buy in, it's not going anywhere. So
right.
That's incredible. That's such good advice.
Well, and I think the bring that to a team level, the interesting thing that you see as a team when it comes to when you're getting closer with the robot to alliance selections, there's so many teams that are so good at trying to sell their team to you to pick them to be part of your alliance, right?
Right.
Take that same enthusiasm that you have, that because you might only have that 20, 30 seconds to talk to a team, and translate that into what you're doing for chairmans and other awards as well too. Yeah, and that's something that there's a lot of teams, like I said, are really good at doing that, and then they kind of flounder or don't necessarily follow through with other areas. But I think you guys alluded to a lot is having the right people in the pits that can welcome people right away, have a friendly greeting, have that elevator pitch for anybody out there. Because, some judges are wearing those blue shirts down there, but not everyone is. And just being able to get out to anybody, regardless if it's a general member from the public, whoever it is, having the kids with the right attitude and the right know-how, and the ones that really want to do it, those are the ones that you want down there and that are going to make a big impact.
Sure, of course.
So as we transition, looking at this year, you guys won that Chairman's Award in Las Vegas, and now we're transitioning over to the championships. You had about a month between St. Louis and Las Vegas. How did your team prepare for the chairman's presentation at championships, and what was different maybe between this year when you presented versus previous years when you presented at championships?
So between that month, the chairman's team and I, we gathered, we met after school a lot. And although we did have homework or sometimes we needed to go eat, we would have our scripts with us. But we also wanted to stress out that it wasn't something that we're just reading off a paper. What we're presenting to the judges is something that we've experienced and that we can speak about from the heart. And that's something that, as a chairman's team, we made sure we stressed each other, like, are you sure you're able to go ahead and talk about this? Because I went to the event, maybe I should talk about it. It was just a lot of communication within ourselves and other mentors who have gone through the chairman's presentation as well. Maybe they can give us advice, and we would just practice with them. And a month isn't that much time, so we really had to go back.
Fast.
Yeah, it went by really fast, and we also had to figure out how our presentation would go. We actually did bring in a live tree for our presentation, And that was something that we saw. Okay, we did this for the Vegas presentation. How are we gonna bring this to our championships?
You brought a live tree?
Yeah,
Yeah.
as a part of our brain tattoo and our going with our theme that year.
I actually thought you
And
said life tree at first, and then I had to think about that. I'm like, they
Yeah,
actually brought a
a
real
live
tree
tree.
in. Wow.
Yeah. Well, the idea of the tree was, the foundation of the tree, the roots. Like Team 597 has been here like 15 years, and then we started working our way up to the tree, the trunk of the tree, or some of the things that we've accomplished in the past, and then eventually made our way up to the branches, or the new things that we're doing, and then the leaves are the future of what we're going to be, what future activities that Team 597 was going to be doing. So we used the tree as an analogy, and connected it with what we had done before in the past, what we're currently doing, and where we were projecting to go. So that was the idea of the tree.
So could you talk a little about and I don't know, were you part of the chairman's presentation at championships this past year?
yeah, I was part of the chairman's presentation along with another senior member and the current team captain now.
Okay, can you talk about that experience, like actually in the presentation room? Like, would you mind mentioning maybe a couple things, like what type of things did the judges ask you, or how did they react to things that you were doing?
Um, During the actual presentation, I thought I would be a lot more nervous. We all thought we would be a lot more nervous than we actually felt, but because of us practicing so much and saying the same things that we were saying to the judges to just parents and mentors, it didn't feel that much different. We already knew what we were gonna say. We experienced it, and the judges could really see that. They didn't see some kids reading from a script or memorizing lines. They saw kids who had these experiences, and we're telling them our story. And even though we might have even though we might not have been as streamlined as maybe the Vegas one presentation, we were able to go ahead and give out our points, get to what they were interested in, and the questions that they had were more about what does sharing mean to us? When you guys describe yourself as a family, what does that really mean to you? And what are some of the things that the team does to make sure that we all know what's going on within our chairman's presentation?
Very cool. So was the presentation on Friday?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you present on Friday, then you have to go all the way to Saturday. Saturday was an incredibly long day. You guys, unfortunately, not selected to be on an alliance for the tournament. So your robot's done. You pack up. I guess what was the feeling around the team? Did you feel like oh, we went in there and nailed it, or oh, we don't really know? I guess kind of how was it between when you weren't selected? You had the whole day. Kind of what was Saturday like for you?
Within the chairman's team, we felt like we nailed it. We felt like we had given it our best shot, and the good thing is that between the whole team, even the build members, the programmers, the scouters, they all came to us and said, we know they believed in us, and so we had all that encouragement and within the team that really kept us going.
Very cool.
Oh.
So we're I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was actually going to add. I don't know how weird this is going to sound, but I had heard a team had done this, and we did it. The night before the Chairman's Award, I got a poster board, and I got 3x5 cards. But we do this every time, anyway, for all regionals, not just for chairmans. But in this particular one, which is we focus only on the chairmans on this poster board. And I said, you guys, you need to write down 2 or 3 goals for the championship that you plan on accomplishing for the team, and then write down also 1 or 2 personal goals for yourself. And so we had I think I took 19 people to the championship last year, and we all wrote down like, what are you gonna do? Well, if someone's feeling down, I'm gonna pick them up. I'm gonna make sure everybody is 100% focused in a pit area, and we tacked these on the board. What Anna did when everything was said and done, because we were hoping to make the playoffs, we didn't, but when everything was said and done, Anna wrote at the very top, "Congratulations, Team 597, for winning the 2015 Chairman Champion, World Championship Award, Chairman's Award winner." She wrote it at the top, and then we closed the board, and then for some reason, Saturday, late Saturday, we were fortunate to earn the Chairman's Award. And actually, she wrote, "Congratulations, Team 597, for earning the Chairman's Award," on that poster before it even happened. And actually, this was actually 2 days before the presentation.
So what kind of insider info did you have there, Anna?
I don't know.
So let's talk about that. I mean, the big moment. It's Saturday afternoon. We're through the closing ceremonies that for the entire event. You have all the different first programs there. They start reading out the Chairman's Award. At what point did the both of you know that your team was the one being described? And just take us through what was going through your minds when your team was announced.
Well, we weren't sitting. We were on different places of the stadium, so I was sitting by some of my other team members, and we were just listening through the speech, and then we just kept thinking like, wow, this sounds really familiar. And then we heard the share and the family, and further along the speech, we just looked at each other wide-eyed, and we're like, oh my god, it's us. And as soon as we heard our name, we just got shot straight up, and we were just so amazed.
But that's not actually totally true, because there were other teams that looked at. I was actually not with them. I was actually downstairs, closer to the stage, so I was, it was easy for me to get there. But I heard from the other kids that said other teams looked at them and they said, "Aren't you guys Team 597?" And my guys said, "Yeah." I said, "They're calling your number. It's you guys won Chairman's." And my guys are like looking at each other like, "How? Like, what are you talking about?" No, hey guys, you really won Chairman's. They're calling 597. So it took them like 10 to 12 minutes to go from whatever the nosebleed section all the way down to the stage. So I found that pretty funny.
Mm-hmm. So why were you on the field?
Oh, I wasn't really on the field per se.
How did they let you in?
Yeah,
I was just gonna say, did they kind of bring you down to make sure you were close, or?
No. What had happened was somebody on the team had gotten sick, and I took her back to the hotel. So when I had walked in, by the time I walked in, they started announcing chairmans.
Oh wow.
So I was already downstairs, and the rest of the team was up in it, like I said, the nosebleed section. So, and I even got a call from one of my mentors said, "Should we come downstairs?" And I said, "Yes, it's us. Come downstairs."
That's pretty funny.
So when you are going down and you receive the award, like, what was the experience like kind of afterwards, like at the event itself? Was it just a big blur for you guys? Was it just euphoria the entire time? Like, were teams just coming up to you and congratulating you? What was going on during that time?
A little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Lots of hugging, lots of crying, lots of oh my god, guys, we did it. It was something that all our team members will have in their memories for like ever.
And those kids that I took back to the hotel, somebody had called them and said, "We won the Chairman's," and they, "Hey, can you come back and pick us up?" So, so I had to go back to the hotel to pick them up to, so they could come and celebrate. Yeah.
And I mean, for the most part, between my team members and I, we've been together for since 6th, 7th grade, and to have that, our senior year, to win that award all together, it was amazing.
Yeah, and Daryl, I don't remember if this was during pre-show or not, but I think you talked about how the school that you're in is a K through 12 school, right? So that's really cool to have that camaraderie going all the way through for that many years, to be able to get that big payoff at the end. I'm sure was extremely rewarding and satisfying.
Oh, most definitely, and it still is.
Yeah,
that's great. So what was the response like when you returned home? You go back to school that next Monday, I guess. What was the response like from the school there?
Unless you got the whole week off or something.
No, not at all. Well, I just from a celebration viewpoint, at the time we won the Chairman's was a time our school district and the teacher union were in negotiations for contracts. So having one of the chairman's gone, I personally went down to the school board to let them know what went on, but they decided like it was a little bit more important to focus on contract negotiations than it was for us winning a chairman's award. And in fact, they had mentioned like, oh, by the way, you're not the only one to win a robot award. There was a team in LAUSD that won something called the Urban Challenge, which is a Lego robot thing. And then there was a team that was the VEX, one of the VEX Championship Alliance winners. And I guess they had gone to the board and said that, they'd won the world championship for VEX. And then for FIRST, this is for FIRST Robotics, because I had to send them a write-up. And what they couldn't connect is, what does volunteering and change your community have to do with a robot competition? So isn't it like battle bots kind of thing? Like like the what do you call it? The media department at LAUSD, they just couldn't make the connection. And they said, well, we tried pitching this to the Los Angeles Times, but the Los Angeles Times says they don't get what a robot demonstration. What community service and volunteering have to do with a robot competition. They couldn't. They didn't connect it.
That's really unfortunate. One thing maybe I'll add to that, kind of the other side of the coin. So my team was on the World Finalist Alliance this year, and when you came back, there's obviously kind of that initial fanfare from people who are close to you, but it's really hard to translate that, past the FIRST community, right? To say, hey, this is an amazing thing that this team did, and you guys, you're one team out of 3,000 teams that just accomplished this, and trying to get that point home is sometimes almost like it's talking to a brick wall. It's a very dense thing, right? That you just got to try to plow through more and more and more. Yeah, absolutely. So how did, going to the off season, and Colin, if you don't mind to take this, how did your team ride that, the momentum you had? You might have had a little bit of stop with the school board, right? But what about, you guys as a team going in the off season? What went on during the 2015 off season?
You want to mention Success Magazine?
Yeah.
And some other.
We actually got contacted by Success Magazine to see if they could do a write-up on our team and some of the student members. And it was actually titled The Little Team That Could. And it really went ahead and talked about, even though we're an inner city team, we were able to go ahead and defeat the odds and come back home with this amazing award. And again, to be able to tell that magazine what volunteering and robotics had to do, had to relate to each other. And then again, also talking to the students in the school, what the significance of Team 597 winning this award. They actually got to learn a little bit more about what FIRST was, more about our robots, and we got a little bit more interest within our school.
Sure. So moving into this year going on, what is expected of a Hall of Fame team? I mean, when it comes to, you won chairman's, now you're part of the Hall of Fame. What are your plans, I guess, as a team? Then what is expected of you guys being a Hall of Fame team moving forward, both between, your relationship with FIRST and the FIRST community?
Well, my goal, once again, is to increase the number of underserved kids in this particular community, giving them the opportunity to participate in, FIRST Lego League, FIRST Lego League Junior, and FIRST Robotics. That's my goal. And like I said, next year we're going to have 12 Lego teams instead of 8 like we have this year, and it's going to keep growing and growing. And the kids are going to learn how to mentor. The kids are going to learn how to make presentations. They're going to learn that engineering design process. They're going to learn programming and all of those troubleshooting skills that they can take anywhere, no matter what career they choose. And they can be problem solvers anywhere, because FIRST gives you those intangibles that you can use like anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when we had Glenn Lee from the Hawaiian Kids on a couple weeks ago, he talked about, even though you won chairman's, it doesn't mean what you're doing is done, right? And I think that might be a little bit of something that teams like, oh, they don't need to try anymore or something like that. No. It doesn't stop. It keeps going. It never ends, right? As the mentor, Daryl, it never ends, right?
Right. Yeah, we hosted our second Kitbot build for, I think we had 9 teams attend this year. The year before, we had 15 teams attend, and we've also done 3 robotic workshops for rookie teams and second-year teams. Hey, we don't quit. We want to get better. We want to again spread the first message to everyone, because it's a good message out here.
Absolutely. Nobody works harder than a Wolverine, right? That's what you like to say. So
Yeah.
I guess anything else that you guys kind of want to tell us about what's going on with 597? How is your team tackling the Stronghold Challenge?
It's a challenge.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's you know what? I told the kids, if it's my it was my it was my intent for us. I said, guys, as far as robot building, we're coming out of our comfort zone, just so we came out of our chairman's comfort zone. Now we're actually going to start building a very, very competitive robots. And I said, you guys got to envision yourself on Einstein. Okay, and that means you're going to have to be able to do everything, because the robots on Einstein, they're going to be able to do everything. You see it every year. But again, that means we may not have the resources, we may not have the expertise, but we're going to give it a go.
Very cool.
Very cool. Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things I'll say too, when it comes to that, is that the challenge of this year's game, I think, will lead to a lot of excitement as well too, and it's going to lead to kind of that both, where it's going to be extremely exciting, and there's also probably going to be a lot of tears at some point too.
Yeah.
Just because of the challenge that it brings. But it's awesome, right, to have that sort of engineering challenge. And last year you regardless of what you thought of the game itself, last year was a really tough engineering challenge, and I think FRC is continually raising the bar on that challenge and how you're going to attack that. So best of luck to you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So that's going to be all we have for Spotlight tonight. And so Daryl Newhouse and Anna Hernandez from FRC597 Wolverines and our latest Hall of Fame team, thank you so much for being on. If you don't mind telling us, where can people find out more about 597?
Team597.net.
No,
or
.org.
.org.
.org, all right.
Or our Facebook page.
Or our Facebook page. We have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at Team597 The Wolverines.
Very cool. And Anna, best of luck to you on your video game design going into college. That's awesome, phenomenal. And Daryl, good luck getting your robot done by next week. It's coming up quick.
Yes, it is. All right, guys.
We'll
Thank
see
you
you
for
on
having
Einstein.
us.
We'll see you on Einstein this year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, we will.
And Colin Foltz, this is going to be our last episode of Spotlight for a little while as we transition into the competition season. Great job to you, man. It's been a blast. What's going on with you, and what's going on with Indiana First?
I think the biggest thing with Indiana First right now, outside of our district competitions, obviously, and our teams, we got registered for the Indianapolis Brackets for Good. It's a March Madness style tournament between nonprofits in the city to raise as much money, and whoever raises as much money as they can moves on to the next round. So more details on that, indianapolis.bfg.org, and our Twitter account at Indiana First will have all the information on how you can help us, how people in the community could help Indiana First win Brackets for Good this year.
Awesome. Nick Olson, our producer, working behind the scenes. Nick, on Waiver Box, we're coming down to the wire with Builds too. So what's going on with Waiver Box? What updates can you tell everybody?
Yeah, we got a lot going on. As everyone knows, bags next week, and still got lots of parts to cut. We decided to do everything in-house this year. So
we're still cutting parts?
Yes.
Oh, man. So, yeah, it's going to be a long season, guys. That's been alluded. It's going to be a lot of fun, but, oh, man, the commitment just keeps getting more and more, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. So, Chat Nation, thank you so much for tuning in. We ask if you enjoy the show, if you like what's going on, tell others about it on our Facebook, Twitter, or anywhere else you so please. Please don't forget to subscribe to our Twitch, YouTube channels under First Updates Now. And you can find us on iTunes or your favorite podcast program. This is going to help us grow and get even more of the First community involved, making First even more loud. And teams, don't forget that premiere night will be on Tuesday, March 1st. Videos and submissions are going to be due on the 27th. We're going to have that on a recap on March 1st. So if you want to be part of the biggest video robot reveal, get your submission in by going to firstupdatesnow.com and clicking Reveal Night. If you'd like to leave us feedback, our email address is firstupdatesnow@gmail.com. You can catch fun network shows live on Tuesdays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. No show next week because of Stop Build, and good luck to all teams. We'll see you in a couple of weeks on First Updates Now. Good night, everybody.